We're counting down the 10 gasoline brands most likely to wreck your engine and drain your wallet. From fuel packed with weak detergents to stations hit by water and contamination issues, these entries have earned their spot for real-world mechanical headaches and industry test failures. Think you know which brands are safe? Some might surprise you. Let's kick off the countdown with number 10. Safeway may look like a wallet-friendly stop, but the savings at the pump come at a cost inside your engine. Independent lab tests show Safeway gasoline consistently falls short on detergent levels, sometimes barely meeting the legal minimum, far below what automakers recommend. Mechanics see the results firsthand: sticky intake valves, black soot caked on spark plugs, and rough idle after just a few thousand miles. Engines running on this fuel often need walnut blasting to clear carbon buildup, a job that runs anywhere from $300 to $1,000. Safeway isn't top-tier certified, so the risk of deposit buildup is real. Cheap gas here can turn into expensive repairs down the line. Pulling up to a 7-Eleven for gas might seem convenient, but what is in the tank is anyone's guess. Unlike brands that control their own supply, 7-Eleven buys whatever is cheapest on the open market each week. That means the formula changes constantly. Sometimes it is fine, other times drivers report rough idle, hesitation, or even engine knocking right after a fill. Mechanics have found tanks with higher ethanol content or fine sediment, especially after a fresh delivery. Some states have even shut down pumps for selling out of spec fuel that did not meet basic standards. With no top-tier certification and no consistency between stations, you never really know what you are getting. Sam's Club draws crowds with warehouse pricing, but those savings come with a hidden risk. Their model depends on moving massive volume, yet the fuel can sit longer than you would expect, especially at less busy locations. Mechanics in my shop have drained tanks from Sam's Club customers and found gasoline that is cloudy, not clear, loaded with fine sediment. Filter replacement logs tell the same story, with more frequent clogs and uneven idling than with other brands. Hard cold starts are a common complaint, and the culprit is often stale or contaminated fuel. Sam's Club is not top-tier certified, it sticks to the legal minimum for detergents. The result, a few cents saved at the pump, can lead to hundreds spent fixing clogged filters or rough-running engines. Circle K's pumps might be everywhere, but what is inside the tanks can be a gamble, especially after a heavy rain. In May 2021, dozens of drivers in Baton Rouge faced engine trouble after filling up during a big holiday promotion. Water had seeped into an underground tank, leaving customers with hesitation, check engine lights, and repair bills that hit $400 or more. Circle K admitted responsibility and set up a claims hotline, but the damage was already done. Mechanics point to more than just one bad batch. Inconsistent sourcing and lack of universal top-tier certification means some locations deliver fuel that can leave sticky injectors and black carbon on pistons. Shop borescopes have revealed thick deposits on piston tops after months of using Circle K gas, a clear sign that water and weak detergents can team up to wreck combustion chambers and cost real money. Murphy USA is known for undercutting the competition, but that price-first approach can backfire once the fuel hits your engine. Mechanics see a clear pattern. Cars filled up at Murphy USA often roll into the shop with a rough idle, sputtering, and early injector failures, symptoms that show up well before 100,000 miles. State lab reports from Texas and Louisiana in 2018 flagged multiple batches of contaminated fuel, with drivers stranded by sudden stalling. The common thread is detergent packages trimmed to the legal minimum, leaving injectors vulnerable to sticky deposits and uneven spray patterns. Injector replacement is not cheap, running anywhere from $300 to over $900 for a set. Murphy USA does not carry top-tier certification, so the odds of carbon buildup and fuel system issues are higher than most. Saving a few bucks at the pump here can mean big repair bills down the road. Speedway fills up plenty of cars across the Midwest and East, but after a heavy rain, what is left in the tank can be more trouble than it is worth. In 2020, mechanics started seeing a spike in fuel samples from Speedway with elevated water content, sometimes enough to rust out fuel pumps and corrode injectors. Lab sheets from 2020 showed water levels well above what most automakers consider safe, especially after storms. Drivers noticed it too: rough idle, hard starts, and a sudden drop in miles per gallon. The problem traces back to Speedway's patchwork of local suppliers and aging underground tanks. When water seeps in, it does not just dilute the gas, it accelerates carbon buildup on valves, leaving behind thick deposits that rob engines of power. Speedway's top-tier status is not universal, so not every fill is protected. One bad tank can turn a rainy day into a costly repair. Love's travel stops might promise convenience for cross-country drivers, but what is lurking in their tanks can bring even a diesel workhorse to its knees. In 2022, independent microbiology tests on samples from several Love's locations revealed cloudy gasoline loaded with microbial growth, tiny bacteria and fungi that thrive in underground tanks, especially when water seeps in. Mechanics started logging a spike in clogged fuel filters and injectors sticking shut, sometimes after just a few fill-ups. Shop records show filter change intervals dropping by half compared to cleaner brands, with some trucks needing back-to-back replacements. A TP counts, a way to measure living microbes, were off the charts in these samples, explaining why some jars of drained fuel looked more like soup than gasoline. That kind of biological contamination does not just slow a car down, it can choke fuel flow entirely, stranding drivers miles from help. For road trippers and truckers alike, one bad tank here can turn a routine stop into a costly repair. Amoco's name still carries weight at the pump, but most drivers don't realize it's now just a rebranded version of BP regular gasoline. That familiar shield doesn't guarantee premium protection, especially when it comes to detergents. Independent fuel tests show Amoco's additive package falls short compared to leaders like Chevron or Shell. While Amoco technically meets top-tier standards through BP, lab results often reveal lower detergent levels, sometimes just above the minimum required. Borescope inspections of engines run exclusively on Amoco for 60,000 miles have uncovered heavy carbon layers on intake valves and pistons, damage you would expect from much higher mileage. Mechanics report that cars burning Amoco regular can start showing rough idle, hesitation, and loss of power years earlier than expected. The myth of the old Amoco quality does not hold up against today's chemistry. For drivers who think a trusted brand name means cleaner engines, the evidence says otherwise. Lower detergents, faster buildup, and a bigger repair bill down the road. Pilot Flying J's reputation took a major hit in 2013 when the FBI raided company headquarters over a massive rebate fraud scheme. Truckers across the country were shorted millions of dollars in promised fuel rebates, and court records show top executives orchestrated the scam. But the trouble for drivers did not stop at the register. Shop mechanics logged a steady stream of diesel pickups coming in after fill-ups at Pilot Flying J, complaining of hard knocking, rough idle, and sudden loss of power. When shop techs drained tanks and sent samples to the lab, the results showed more than just diesel. Elevated water and fine grit showed up in several batches. Water in diesel is a silent killer for high-pressure injection pumps, causing rust, pitting, and early failure. Rebuilding or replacing a damaged pump can run from $1,000 to $2,500, not counting downtime or injector work if contamination spreads. For truck owners who depend on every mile, contaminated fuel is not just an inconvenience, it is a direct hit to the wallet and a real risk to engine life. Sunoco's name is everywhere. Big signs, race car sponsorships, and claims of high performance. But when it comes to the regular grade at retail pumps, the story takes a sharp turn. Mechanics across the country report seeing more carbon buildup from Sunoco regular than almost any other major brand. Pull a spark plug or run a borescope down the intake, and the evidence is hard to ignore. Thick, black deposits on valves and piston tops, even on engines with less than 50,000 miles. The symptoms show up fast. Drivers complain of knocking, hesitation, and a sudden drop in power, sometimes within months of switching to Sunoco regular. These are not isolated shop stories either. Independent studies show that non-top-tier gasolines can leave up to 19 times more deposits after just 4,000 miles compared to fuels with stronger detergent packages. Sunoco's regular grade often skips the top-tier standard, relying on the bare minimum required by law. That means less polyethramine, the gold standard detergent that actually scrubs away carbon. The result is engines that should last 200,000 miles start acting worn out before they hit half that. The disconnect between Sunoco's racing image and what actually goes into your daily driver leaves many car owners with expensive repairs and a sense they have been misled. When a brand banks on its track reputation but cuts corners on the street, it is your engine that pays the price. Across all 10 entries, one truth stands out. When gasoline quality drops, engines pay the price. Cheap fuel is not just about saving a few bucks, it is a gamble with your car's lifespan. In the end, what you pump today determines the repairs you face tomorrow.